Okay, so here's the deal, guys. I have quite a few projects that are in some weird in-between stage that aren't quite ready for a video yet, and a couple of more on the way that are going to take quite a bit of my time. So instead of focusing on an entire build, I'm just going to focus on one small aspect of my workbench video that you'll see maybe in 3 or 4 weeks, and that is going to be the laminated top. I'm not going to use any special woodworking tools. I'm just going to use some screws, threaded rod, and some standard 2x3s to make this into a real heavy-duty stout worktop. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is take these 2x3s to the table saw and rip just a little bit off of each side. That way I'll remove the curved sections and these can be more of a square uniform shape. Now they're all cut and you'll see they all have pretty much square edges. I think they should mate up pretty nicely. But now I'm going to drill some holes to align the threaded rod and set the screws, and then we'll glue it up. You just a tired shop dog? She's literally been laying here while I've been cutting all the wood. She gets sawdust on her. I guess it doesn't bother her. It is a success. My threaded rods fit all the way through those holes that I just got done drilling. So it's nice that everything's lined up. Now I will set my screws and get ready for the glue up. It's been about 2 days since I originally glued this up, and I just took the clamps off, and I am moderately happy with my glue and screws method. I probably would have been better served using some heavy-duty pipe clamps, but you know, I was trying to work with what I had. Some of the joints didn't quite squeeze together really tight, so I just ended up adding some extra glue in those areas. So right now I'm going to cut the ends off, sand the top, and then I will face frame the front and the sides with these 1x3s just to give a little bit of a cleaner look. And then I can seal it. Surprisingly, not one of my better ideas. Not the sander's fault, still works. So right now I'm just gluing the face framing that is going to go on the front of the bench on, and I finally got a new glue bottle. It's one of these glue bots. You might have seen me using this in the last couple of clips, and I finally broke down and got something adequate to spread this glue, and so far it's doing pretty well. So right now the top's all sanded. I have the front and side edging on, and it's pretty much ready for some polyurethane. But first I am going to add a backsplash on it. I'm not going to glue this on because I may want to make some changes, but basically it'll just keep stuff from falling behind the workbench. And I may decide to drill some holes or add some sort of little channel on here to hold some pencils or something.
You're doing a good job. Thanks for helping, Daddy. I like your gloves. Let me see.
Alright, so it's all done now, and I just have it setting in the location where I think it's going to end up. It's just sitting on a sawhorse, but just to give you an idea of what it might look like in that area. Obviously, this is only one half of the build, but I am pretty happy with the way it turned out, especially with the experimental or unconventional means of me laminating the wood together. But I think it's a good example, and maybe hopefully gives you an idea that you don't have to necessarily have super specialized woodworking tools like joiners and things like that to get something like this. Is this as strong as maybe something that had 100 pipe clamps on either end? I don't know, probably not, but for my purposes, it's gonna work well. I eventually plan on putting a vise right here on the corner, and then obviously the next step, I'm gonna be building the base. I'm gonna probably add some more drawers, but it will be a welded base. And I think it is going to serve me really well. There was one thing that my buddy Ty Mosier pointed out. When I did the framing on the ends of this, I mitered the corners, and he said he had a similar experience of when the humidity levels changed, his miters ended up separating. So if that ever does happen with this, I may just cut that end board off, and I guess this workbench will look like any other laminated workbench that you ever saw. But overall, I'm pretty happy. Here is the relationship for size. I plan on this being my main workbench, doing all kind of heavy stuff, hammering, vise work, and then this will be like maybe laying stuff out. I don't know. You're probably wondering about that. That is actually a mini evaporative cooling unit. I was recently contacted by a company called NewAir. They said they had seen the shipping container shop series and knew I was in Arizona and thought that I could use an evaporative cooler or one of their mini AC units. So I told them I would be willing to try out the evaporative cooling because it takes a lot less energy than AC does. It's got a little remote control. You can turn it on from afar. It's got a bunch of different speeds, and it'll oscillate or just blow a fan or do the evaporative cooling. But so far it has been working pretty darn well, and I am pretty happy with it. But I will be honest, I am a little bit concerned with the shipping container being metal walls, if that will cause any excess condensation. But I don't know, in the next several months I will let you know if I think it's a problem in something like this, or if it seems like it's not a big deal. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope this build illustrates the fact that you don't always have to have the most specialized tools or even use the most conventional methods to complete a project. It's okay to think outside the box and use what you have. I think it turned out pretty well, and I'm happy with the result. So stay tuned for the next portion of this video, which will be building the base and all that other stuff. And but before that, I will probably have the videos on my daughter's playhouse. So as always, I thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like this. Check me out on Instagram. That's the social media thing that I've been doing more regularly. And we will see you next time. That's good. It's empty though.